What is up, Stam fam? Welcome back to another video. So today I'm just gonna dive straight into the story time. Alright, so this video is a lot easier for me to remember because there isn't so many dates to play around with. Like the last story time, I was kind of getting my dates mixed up and how old I was. But this one happened in grade 8, so that was in 2004. I had just gotten into high school and I decided that on my first year, and I actually took it for another 2 years afterwards, I took band. People in band were known as band geeks back then, but I loved it so much because I got to be around instruments. I'm not really a fan of the blow instruments, I never really got into that, but there was a bass guitar in our band, there were drums, and I was the only person who played drums in that band class, so I got dibs on the drum set right away. Anyways, the good thing about that class is there was a good mix of guys and girls, and there were a lot of girls that I found really pretty in that class. The girl that I'm going to be talking about today is actually my second crush of high school. So initially I liked this other girl named Angeline, and she was actually in my Insta 360 video. We're still good friends. And anyways, I found out she had a boyfriend, so you know, I got over that. And eventually I started liking this other girl. Her name was Julia, and I'm not even gonna hide the names of this because there isn't any bad blood there, and this was so long ago. I'm sure that if she ever heard this or her friends ever heard this, it's just a funny story now. Anyways, her name was Julia. She was Chinese, and I don't know, I got really infatuated her really quickly. But the thing was, I didn't look the same back then. Going into high school, I had a mushroom cut and I had long hair, and I was very awkward and antisocial. I had like close groups of friends, that's about it. I never really could be that chameleon type to just go from group to group and assimilate myself in whatever situation I wanted to be in. So yeah, I was just a very awkward guy, and I made it blatantly obvious because I was just so bad at hiding it that I liked her, and everybody knew I liked her, and I'm sure she knew it. Like her friends were telling her and stuff, and they were probably egging her on and whatever, but obviously she didn't like me back. I didn't know that, of course, because I still tried to ask her out. So now let's get into that story. Back then, I didn't know how to approach women, and my form of trying to show my appreciation towards them was to write poems.
I have seen sunsets and sunrises, but nothing of your beautiful face. Very good, William.
So Valentine's Day was coming up, and I think I actually did this on Valentine's, and I bought her a rose. In the poem it said blah blah whatever, and at the end of it I think it was me asking her out, and I think there might have even been check boxes or something like yes and no. Some stupid corny shit like that. Pretty much, you know, the poem was given to her, she read it, and I wasn't there when she read it, and the deal was that she would meet me at the basketball courts to give me back the poem, whether it was a yes or no. So that was probably like in the beginning of the school day, and by lunchtime she had made her decision. Obviously she already knew what she wanted to say. So she met me at the basketball courts while I was playing there, and she handed me back the poem, where I handed her the single rose that I bought for her. I looked at the poem, and at the end of it, it said that no, I don't want to be your girlfriend.
Watch this, Lise. You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
So that being said, I walked away. I forgot what I said to her, but I walked away, and then I found out later on that the rose that I handed to her on the basketball court, she just left it on the ground. And of course I was super bummed out about it. That was my first time ever asking out a girl. Wow, I got to that punchline really quickly, I feel like. But yeah, that was my first time asking out a girl, and you know, it was the first girl I ever asked out in high school, so that kind of screwed with my future confidence when it came to talking to women, and let alone asking them out. So yeah, that was that. I got over it, and then I realized, you know, at some point, Stan, you gotta cut your hair. Your hair is getting so long. Even girls are complimenting how silky your hair looks. I'm talking about my hair reaching my shoulders. That's how long it got. And it was like Trunks after him getting out of the hyperbolic time chamber. That's how long it was. Well, maybe not as long, but you know, it looks similar to that. It's that same hairstyle. And of course I couldn't pull that off because I'm not this buff, good looking dude, and I'm not an anime. So about a year later is when I finally decided to pull the trigger and cut my hair. So that must have been around like middle of grade 9. And all of a sudden, I'm hearing rumors that Julia, the girl who initially rejected me, actually started to like me. And I think that's when I realized that high school is a very shallow place, and the world is a very shallow place. It's all about looks. People who look good are just treated differently. And that's the ugly truth.
And that, my friends,
is the ugly truth.
I mean, obviously there's exceptions. If you have a really ugly personality, then yeah, they're not going to treat you well. But if you're a good looking person and you have an amazing personality to work with that, man, you are going to be treated like a god. But hey, that's just my opinion. But yeah, that was kind of a rough year for me for grade 8. I lost a lot of confidence and it took me some time to recover and be able to ask out another girl. But yeah, you know, high school, the first couple years, maybe 3 years, were kind of crappy for me, but grade 11 and 12 were great. There's a lot of stories from grade 11 and 12 actually that I would love to tell you guys, but that's gonna be for another video. The moral of the story is, and something that I wish I could tell my grade 8 self, it doesn't matter if a girl rejects you. I know it sucks in the moment. Of course you would love it if she said yes, but life isn't like that. Life's about ups and downs and experiences, and even though things may qualify as bad experiences, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's all bad. They're called experiences for a reason. You live and you learn from them, and at the very least, at least you're getting something out of a bad situation. So yeah, if you guys are pursuing a girl right now and at the end of the road she decides to say no, let's move on to the next one. Eventually somebody will say yes. It's the equivalent of just swiping right on Tinder. Eventually you get a match. And that might actually be because the other person might have just done the exact same thing. But eventually you'll find somebody. That's all I'm trying to say here. Alright, that's the end of today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.